It's a time for a package from China. But this is not the Pandora jungle that I've spoken of in the previous videos. No. We are going to talk about something completely different. Or it's more like a TV game player or an HDMI plug and play device, including 2 arcade joysticks. This is a completely new product and I was so curious what we're going to get. So it seems to be though having quite some different platforms like Famicom, Super Famicom, Game Boy Advance, Mega Drive and arcade that we can play. So I already did some videos about, let's say, plug and play devices, but I'm very curious what you're going to get with this. There are quite some different colors and everything looks very nice packed up. But inside the package we're going to get the peripherals, of course. This is an USB dongle, so you need to see it more like a Chromecast. And here we're having the 2 controllers. So I must say these things were not very expensive, and what is also very interesting is that we're going to get the toilet paper manual, like always, or what the hell is this? Yeah, okay, we cannot even call this a toilet paper manual. Okay, let's put it back in the box. And let's take a close look at the package over here. Let's see what we're going to get. Here we're going to get the dongle. The dongle is very similar that with the previous model I've reviewed. That was the 8-bit version. But as you can see, there's only a micro USB and this is for the power. And there is no other way for adding a controller. Okay, that's very interesting because the previous model had a USB port where you can basically use controllers. The micro USB cable, very long. This is what we're going to need for powering on device. You can use a power adapter or use the USB from your television. And we're having here the suction knobs, and these are for the controllers. So the joysticks are very lightweighted because they are fully made of plastic. And what can we expect for the joystick and the buttons, and how is the quality? So to begin with, let's talk about the joystick. The joystick itself feels quite nice. And what I did notice playing games, that it plays very well. The joystick, I was completely surprised for an, let's say, a cheaper product like this. It's super clickish, but it is also super responsive. When you take a close look at the buttons, this is not a good thing. Because the buttons are similar like I've seen with cheap devices or arcade sticks in the past. More like, let's say, the membrane buttons, and you can't replace them. Battery compartment over here, so for 3 AA batteries. So let's grab ourselves some batteries and let's see if this thing even powers on. Okay, they're in. Let's close the hatch. Let's power it on with the switch over here. And you can see that the green LED is flashing. Okay, so I'm ready to go. Yeah. But that's pretty cool that this is just an HDMI plug and play dongle. That's it, there is no console, the console is inside the dongle. Okay, so what we're going to need is an extension cable because, yep, there, it doesn't fit in my monitor. And that is a problem I've seen before with different dongles. This is not included, but I have this extension HDMI that you need to buy separately, or I'm hoping in the future they will give you. So let's grab one, so I'm going to show you what I mean. As you can see over here, we can just plug it in like this. Okay, so let's grab ourselves the dongle. The dongle I'm going to put in the extension. And that's it. The USB, you can use a USB charger, or if possible, you can use the connection in your television. Like this. So that's it. When you're powering on the device, HDMI, it will automatically give some juice to the game console and you're ready to go. Alright, so when booted up, I must say we are presented with a very nice menu. And I'm quite surprised, to be honest. Alright, so we're having the folder on the top, and I'm guessing this is for adding your own games. We're having a favorite list, NES. That is quite interesting that we're having quite some different NES games on this device. Pressing select goes back to the main menu. Super Famicom. Alright, so press select go back to the main menu. GBA. We're having some Mega Drive, and we're having arcade. So these are the platforms that are supported by the dongle. So if you were curious how this is going to run, and do we have some more options with, let's say, button configuration. We have a quick load menu. When we're pressing select and start in game, you're going to get this menu. Before you can exit, you have some options. To begin with, we have a quick load and quick save. Every game will have 6 slots to use. Quite interesting. But what is really interesting? So we're having a quick load, quick save. We're having the game display settings where we can change the aspect ratio, and we can do some reconfiguration with the buttons if you don't like them. So these are most of the options that we're asking for. That's quite interesting. But what you can see, that the aspect ratio doesn't work flawlessly. You really need to give this thing a reboot, otherwise you will still have this flashing background. There's just a big error in the software itself. So yeah, we found something they finally messed up. But you need a reboot before the error will be removed. So there's a little bit of an annoying thing. And the other thing is, when you're loading up a different emulator, you need to do the process all over again. So there's something you need to take into consideration. If you didn't do that, you have a problem. But when you give this device a full reboot, you can see that even the SNES is working properly on the 4:3 aspect ratio. Pretty damn awesome, if you ask me. But I already noticed with the NES it runs very well, and I don't notice any input lag. Okay, so next up, let's try Game Boy Advance and let's see how the games are running. Again, I don't notice any input lag, and yeah, let's enjoy some gameplay and let's see how it runs. Full screen, stretched. Okay, so next up, let's try Street of Rage number 2. And let's see how it runs, because I'm very curious how the sound is and everything. I have seen my share of shitty emulation, but this is not bad at all.
Round 1. Fight.
So there is no way to see the real FPS, but I can see that it is running pretty choppy. So this game is not running on the full speed. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? But when you're running a different game, you can see this runs way better. It's more like these specific games like Street Fighter 3, all the more demanding games that will have an issue on this stick. But yeah, this game runs very well and there's nothing to complain over here. Okay. When doing so many reviews, these are the products that makes me always a little bit exciting. Simply because it's flawed in some ways, but still it's pretty cool. It works pretty decent and it's a very cheap kit. But what I don't like about it is that we have no option to add our own controller, and if these are going to get broken someday, you don't have a controller to play. And that is a big issue. So yeah, again, there are some things that they messed up, but the emulation is pretty good. There is no PlayStation 1 support, so that's what you're going to get with this device. I want to thank you for watching, consider subscribing, hit the little bell, become one of the Wicked family, and if you have any questions, you can also drop it in the comments.